Who wants to be a millionaire? Last question. Who has the biggest crush on Bill Clinton? Is it option A, his wife Hillary Clinton? Option B, the intern Monica Lewinsky? Or is it option C, President Donald Trump? Well, all of those options are wrong, because the answer is the nation of Kosovo. Hello and welcome from Pristina, the capital of Europe's newest country, Kosovo. To just say country, by the way, is sort of factually incorrect because it's only partially recognized. Only 100 or so countries in the world actually recognize Kosovo. The countries who don't recognize Kosovo are those with separatist movements by themselves or Russian allies. Well, Russian allies don't recognize Kosovo because clearly there's a bit of an American love story going on over here. And really, when I mean American love story, to some extent that is literally true, because in 1999 or something, Hillary Clinton, who was in the US government at that time also, if I'm not wrong, tells Bill Clinton, who's the president, that she will only, stay in the marriage with Bill Clinton, who already was going through this Monica Lewinsky scandal and everything. She says to him that only if she bombs Serbia will she, continue being in the marriage with Bill. Then he immediately starts bombing Serbia. And now where did Serbia come into the picture, right? I was just talking about Kosovo, the newest country of Europe. Suddenly, where does Serbia come into the picture? Well, Kosovo is only partially recognized because Serbia considers it to be part of its territory. This entire saga, of course, has to do with the breakup of Yugoslavia, which starts off in the early 1990s after the death of Tito, the strongman who holds the country together. And where I'm standing right now in Kosovo with Bill Clinton is sort of an ongoing part of that story. A lot of people just glance past this monument, but on that book there it says 24/3/1999. Okay, now my pet peeve with that is that obviously reached 24 March 1999. If Bill Clinton, an American, is holding that, they do month, day, year. So it should be 3/24/1999. Just a small pet peeve. But the reason it says that, it's because it is around that time, I think, 24 March 1999, where this entire Kosovo bombing conflict ends. And that's the agreement, I think, for peace. So Bill Clinton is a major part of the story of Kosovo, which is why the people over here love him. And who exactly are the Kosovars? They are Albanians. So if that confuses you, just stay with me. Before I get to explaining that portion, I also want to just point out that there's Donald Trump over there. So truly the Epstein buddies are together, right? The lovebirds have found a place in downtown Pristina. It's so funny seeing this, right? Obviously there's a lot of historical nuance to this, their love for America and everything, which I will explain. But to see Donald Trump and Bill Clinton together at the same place, knowing what's happened with Hillary Clinton, Hillary v. Trump, then the entire Epstein file saga, just funny and hilarious. Also, Bill Clinton low-key got that Trump tilt. You know what I mean? You know how Trump stands with his butt poking out? Low-key did him quite dirty. Yeah, quite sad. Yo, what's up, dog? Now I understand why there's a Bill Clinton statue over here, because he did a lot of good things for this country, right? A good reason why this country exists is because he wanted to keep his marriage. Okay, let me leave it at that. But why Donald Trump though? Actually, and why would you be those two politicians who want to be affiliated with that guy, right? Because Kosovo is a majority Muslim country and the US hasn't been good to Muslims over the last 10 to 20 years. So why would you associate yourself with that guy? Associate yourself with Bill, that I understand. But Donald Trump, I mean, what kind of a low is that? I'm now crossing Boulevard Bill Clinton to get to the other side. Can you see Boulevard Bill Clinton? And yeah, wow, the traffic lights over here have very limited time. Just 15 seconds, that's all. Get across this massive road. It's very car centric over here, the infrastructure. And people come over here to see the Bill Clinton statue, who is now on that side, but they don't realize there's a massive road or a highway going through here. It's quite difficult to think by yourself because the sound of the cars and everything is just so damn loud. Kosovo's currency situation is pretty unique in that because they're only partially recognized in Europe but also well within the Western sphere of influence, they use the euro for day-to-day transactions. Before the euro, they used Deutsche Marks, which is the predecessor of euros. So really, they've been using euros all their entire life despite not being in the eurozone officially. And more recently, I think they're pretty open to crypto because I see a bunch of these signs across the city, right? Crypto exchange, and even my hostel was accepting payments in crypto, which is pretty fascinating for me, right? The only other country you've heard of accepting crypto like this is El Salvador. Kosovo doesn't get mentioned that much. If someone asks you next time who is the United States' strongest ally, greatest friend, you should say Kosovo, okay? Not Israel. Like, I mean, screw Israel for many other reasons, but including that. Here's another statue, okay? Robert Joseph Dole. I have no clue who this is, and there's an American flag over there. There's so many American flags across town, and I don't know who is RJ Dole. If anybody knows, or maybe I'll go Google later. I'm having a lot of internet connectivity problems here in Kosovo actually. For some reason none of my eSIMs are working, so I can't even like Google to find out who this dude is. Neither is there a black card, so if you guys know, let me know in the comments. Kosovo doesn't just have history, it has some architectural marvels as well, like this. Yeah, okay, so that's the National Library of Kosovo, and it was voted the ugliest building in Europe for many years, and I think it still is considered to be the ugliest building in Kosovo. Really, it looks pretty damn ugly. I don't know why you would build something like that, and there are 99 domes on top apparently, and I don't know what those 99 domes represent or why the number 99, but yeah, very ugly, isn't it? And it's not just the library itself, right? When you walk up to it, look at the rubbish over there, and it actually stinks. Ugly concrete commie block. So I mean, the apartment, sure, the commie block, but the rubbish, come on, like clear it, do something about it, keep it elsewhere. It's not a great first impression when you're coming to see the library, which is a tourist attraction, by the way. Like, those people over there are tourists. They were taking photos and whatnot, I think from China. Why would you have stinking piles of rubbish in front of one of the very few attractions to do in your city? This is inside the library itself. I mean, not inside. I can't actually go inside because I'm not a member, but yeah, with all these weird metal grills, rusting, and the glass which looks like this. Not gonna lie, okay, and I'm sorry if you're Kosovar and this library means something to you, but it looks more akin to a jail than a library, a place of education and learning, so not a fan. Clearly not a fan. Literally just a few steps away from that library is this church, okay, very unfinished, very ugly, and there's a very good reason for that. This is Slobodan's church. This church was built by Slobodan Milosevic. Slobodan Milosevic is a convicted war criminal spending his last days in a jail cell in The Hague. Okay, Serbian war criminal. To understand Kosovo or even Bosnia, you need to understand who this guy Milosevic is. See, Serbia is still considered to be the successor state of Yugoslavia, because the capital of Yugoslavia was Belgrade. It was very Serbian dominated. So Serbia is not happy about Yugoslavia just breaking up, right? And now in the late 1990s, Kosovo says goodbye as well. It wants to leave, but Milosevic is not going to let that happen. Kosovo is a majority Muslim region, and Milosevic wants to really teach them a lesson, right? He wants to really rub it into them. So a war criminal cuckoo starts building this church in a majority Muslim region just to spite them, okay, just to spite them. But then of course the Kosovo war begins, Serbia starts getting bombed, Bill Clinton starts to get involved, so this church is just left unfinished, and they haven't touched it just as a reminder of the kind of brutalities that this region has faced, that they, showed the middle finger to Milosevic in the end. This church and this entire region actually is on the University of Pristina's campus, so every day when university students are going to class, they take a look at this. It's not that the people of Kosovo are intolerant people, they are Muslim and they don't like churches or whatever. Over there is another very beautiful church actually, and that is also on the campus of University of Pristina, behind this abomination. So it's not about the church itself, it's about who built it and the purpose behind building it. And just to clear the air, in my opinion, a bigger war crime than that is actually this building. I think this should be the one. I don't know, okay, just a joke, but seriously, every time I look at it, I think, who the hell thought of building that? Here, there's another advertisement to go work and discover America. It's not just the Bill Clinton statue. Everywhere you just open your eyes and look, there's more and more signs that these guys absolutely love America, that they're thankful for helping them get their independence from Serbia. See, this advertisement, for example, it's just for a lawyer and advocate, but he just has an American flag over there, not even the Kosovo flag, because why not, This is the newborn monument, because of course, Kosovo is Europe's baby, the youngest kid on the block, and beside over there is sort of the dad who made this all happen, the Route 66 diner, right? Very American. Oh, hello, hi. Hi. very friendly people around here. But yes, seeing the Route 66 diner over there just seems very appropriate, because without America, this wouldn't have happened. Here we have the Madeleine Albright statue, and I don't know much about her, but I do know that I think she was a US Secretary of State. And US Secretary of States usually are war criminals. And I think she is too. She has done awful stuff in other parts of the world, but Kosovo is like the one example, I think, like literally the one singular example, I think, where US interventionism abroad actually yielded good results, like positive results. I mean, even that is like 50-50, because if you ask a Serbian, they'll ask, why did the US bomb our cities where there were civilians living? Because that is a pretty valid question as well. In Niš, where I was, one of the places where the US dropped a bomb killed 40 grandmas. Okay, so if you ask a Serbian, the answer is going to be a bit different. But at least in Kosovo and to some extent in Bosnia, people like Madeleine Albright have done good stuff. But I don't know whether she's actually a good person or not. So I'll hold my judgment on that. Again, a bit of American influence. The Kosovo USA alumni. I don't know what is that. It's some educational exchange board apparently. So again, it shows you the amount of American influence here in Kosovo. Okay, like Israel has nothing on Kosovo being the US's best friend. In fact, Trump is sort of tapping into this. For a while, the US didn't really do much with this relationship, because after the whole Yugoslavia, Serbia thing ended, not much happens in the Balkans. You know, it's not too strategic as a location as well. Maybe to attack Russia at max, but that's all, you know. But Trump, with ICE, as he's deporting a lot of people, he's apparently sent 50 of those deportees over here to Kosovo. Which, I mean, if you think about it, right, as a deportee, I would love to come to Kosovo. Just go to Germany afterwards, EU. Like, it can't be that bad, right? So, but yeah, Trump is tapping into this relationship now, in case you're interested. And again, when you think of America, you think of glitzy skylines, capitalism, burgers, fast food, that sort of thing. But wherever you see an American flag over here, like this, you also get reminded of Yugoslav communism. Because at the end of the day, remember, Kosovo was part of Yugoslavia, and these communist commie apartment blocks built at the lowest possible cost to house as many people as possible, which is actually a very noble intention, by the way. But maybe just to preface that, not everyone got the apartments quickly. If you were connected, you got the apartments first. So yes, there was a lot of corruption in any communist state. But the point being, the American flag being right beside it, it's such a bizarre sight to see, because that's not what you associate America with. And it shows very clearly that America being here is a definite like foreign policy interventionist sort of result, and not something that is very, you know, genuine or something that is natural. It's sort of an implant into the region, an implant into this nation's history. NATO is a cornerstone of America's foreign policy to counter the Russian threat. It was formed post World War II to counter the Soviet threat, but the USSR doesn't exist anymore, so it's now to counter Russia. Here you have a memorial for the men and women who died serving NATO during the Kosovo War. Yes, NATO was involved in Kosovo, and it's actually one of the first instances wherein it did something very impactful. The first instance of NATO actually being invoked to do something was in Bosnia, but that's something a lot of people have forgotten. This one, during the Kosovo War, this is something a lot of people remember, and it's right smack in the heart and center of Mother Teresa Square, which is like the city center of Pristina itself. Now, Mother Teresa is the most famous Albanian, and remember that question I asked you guys earlier, who are the Kosovars, right? What about them? So the Kosovo people are essentially ethnically Albanian. Kosovar is the nationality. Ethnically, they are Albanian and they are majority Muslim, like 90% plus Muslim. Serbia had a problem with this, especially that war criminal Milosevic, because Serbians are Orthodox Christians. And once Yugoslavia was breaking up, each country was declaring their own independence, and this guy Milosevic wasn't doing himself any favors, right, by brutally oppressing the Muslims who were here, who wanted their way out anyways, but they might have been tolerating it if at least Milosevic was nice to them. No, he was building churches to like spite them, was, I think, even genociding them at one point in time. Really, these people suffered under Milosevic. So that's why Kosovo is a thing today. It broke away from Serbia, and in fact, the beef between Serbia and Kosovo is so big that, see, now I entered Kosovo through the North Macedonian border, right, the southern border of Kosovo. I can't enter Serbia right now, just based on the kind of entry which I've put in, because Serbia sees it as an illegal entry into their territory. Because, I mean, if you've interacted with any Serbian online, you would have definitely seen like, Kosovo is Serbia, Kosovo is Serbia. That's what those guys like to yap online, right? And because of that, they consider this like an illegal entry into their territory, so they'll ask me to go back into Kosovo. So if I want to go to Serbia right now, I have to exit Kosovo, go into like another border, like for example into North Macedonia, enter Serbia, and that's how I would have to do it. So yes, plenty of politics here in Kosovo, and in fact I'm very sure if you ask any of the older folks, because the war happened in just 1999, they would definitely remember the bombings as well as Milosevic's time. Unfortunately, I am not very good at Albanian. I'm pretty sure that's what they speak, so, and neither do I want to go and ask them, just in case it invokes some sad and bad memories, because PTSD is a real thing. This is Nana Teresa, Mother Teresa, right? This is whom the square is named after. I spoke about her in length in my North Macedonia video, saying that she isn't a good person, and I highly recommend that you read this book called Hell's Angel. I think it is by Christopher Hitchens. He highlights that she isn't actually a good person. A lot of the work that she did in Kolkata, India was more for her missionary work to convert people rather than to actually help them. I've now boarded a bus and I'm the only one on it so far, because I'm going to a Serbian monastery. Yes, so even within Kosovo, there's still minority groups, right? And in this part of Serbia, because Kosovo is a separate country, there are still some Serbians. And there's this monastery called Gracanica Monastery. It's a suburb of Pristina, and this bus goes to another city called Gilan, and apparently this is the bus you're supposed to take. So you're supposed to get off midway on the way, and the bus driver said he told me to sit in front for this very reason. The people here are very nice. They understand what you're trying to do, and they go out of their way to help you. So I feel very welcome in their country. The bus literally drops you along the side of the road, and the monastery is right over there. This is a very different-ish kind of suburb/town. Right over here, can you see that's a... Okay, maybe not from that angle. Over here, can you see that's a Serbian flag? There's another Serbian flag over there. All along the road in front of me, there's Serbian flags every 10 meters or so. That is a bold thing to do, I thought. At least I would think, in a country where Serbia has done some pretty nasty stuff. Now, I don't know whether I want to say that out loud, because this is a town where Serbs are the majority, right? So if they hear what I'm saying, what the hell goes on in Kosovo? Anyways, if they hear what I'm saying, I don't think they'd be too happy, Anyway, there's a sizable Serbian population here in Kosovo. It's slightly uncomfortable because of the bad blood between the ethnic Albanian Kosovars and of course the Serbians. So in Gracanica, which I assume is a Serbian majority town, look at this big cathedral, right? It's a monastery, okay? Actually for some reason, whenever there's a nice beautiful church here in the Balkans, they call them monasteries. Anyways, you see this big stone wall surrounding it. There's barbed wire on top. Yeah, it's a very well protected church because there are attacks which have happened on this church, and it's a 14th century church. It means a lot to Serbian Orthodox civilians, so it is very well guarded. There is only one entrance in and out of that monastery over there, okay? And over there, you wouldn't be able to see it because it's from afar. It says I can't take photos inside, neither can I bring in guns. Yeah, okay, obviously. And no food and drinks. There's a security check over there. So it's very well guarded. The relics of the Kosovo War still very much are alive in Gracanica. It says no filming or photography allowed, but people are doing it, so I'm just gonna do it as well. Very, very beautiful monastery. I doubt I'll be able to film inside the building, if that makes sense, right? Inside this compound, this large compound, I think it's okay. It's just inside the main building itself, that's why it's prohibited. The monastery was very beautiful inside. What happened was there was a tour group inside, I would say 6 or 7 people, not that much, but the tour agency whom they were part of had attached a guide to them, and I just piggybacked on them, right? Understanding more about the... Oh, that was police. I'm not supposed to film, I think. Fuck. Yeah, okay, they just went away. I don't know, I'm outside, right? Why can't I film here? Okay, I've come a bit further because clearly if there are police patrols around the monastery, it's that sensitive, and I don't want to pick a fight with the Kosovar police. Just absolutely not. Look, there's some hero over there, and beside him there's a Serbian flag. I wonder what's that all about. And that's not the only police car I saw, by the way. While I was walking to get further away from it, I saw another police car go by. So yeah, it is still very much an sort of what do you call it? A flashpoint between both the communities. Oh my god, a car accident just happened also. Over there. Can you see both the cars? They are discussing. I don't want to film too much. Ew, what is this town, man? Like, a lot of weird stuff happening. The child is crying. Nobody is injured, thankfully. But yeah, can you see? A lot of action going on over there. Visit Gracanica by US aid. Maybe not. All I've seen in this town are locals with a bit of a tense hostile atmosphere over here, as well as police cars just like circling around from time to time. There's been an accident, just not pleasant. I'm trying to get the next bus out of here. The vibes just are not that good, right? It feels like something is up in the air. Gracanica is less than 10 kilometers away from downtown Pristina, and in Gracanica you have posters like these, like clearly a Serbian nationalist politician, right? So I don't understand the politics of Kosovo. I really don't. But seeing something like this just after seeing the kind of memorials for the people who are that auntie was definitely Serbian. No way I could say this in front of her. Yeah, for the people who were slaughtered by Serbian forces like 25 years ago, having both of them so close to each other is so jarring, right? Like, how is a country so, I don't know, how is a country with such a traumatic past, with such big distinctions, ever gonna stay united? There are good boys in Gracanica. Look at how cute he is. Hello! Hi! So cute. This is the first friendly local I've seen here in Gracanica. Yeah? What a beautiful dog. Oh, sitting down. The lack of internet means I can't use Google Translate to speak with the locals also. They all don't know English, okay? I tried just speaking with a young kid over here who's running the shop. Even he, like, absolutely no. And there's just so many police over there, like, just over my shoulder. I hope he didn't see me. Yeah, in that car over there, the black car, another policeman. There's police presence everywhere. The people don't know English, and there's like barbed wire, a bit of tension in the air. Not nice. Not a welcoming place for vlogging. I did want to ask people about the whole Serbian Albanian divide over here. Why do they have Serbian flags when it should be Kosovo? Things like that, a bit incendiary. Hell nah. Unless I have somebody who can actually speak the local language, I think it's mission impossible. Excuse me, is the bus from here to Pristina?
Yeah, just this.
Okay.
10 minutes, 50 minutes.
Okay. Do you know English? I wanted to ask, why are there so many Serbian flags here?
Serbian?
Yeah.
Yeah, Serbian locations is Gračanic. Pristina is Albanians people.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought Kosovo, they don't like Serbia, which is why I was very confused why there's so many flags here.
Kosovo is Serbia.
I thought Kosovo and Serbia weren't friends.
Fun.
50-50.
Yeah, 50-50.
And you are Serbian?
Serbian is...
No, you are Serbian?
Yeah. Serbian.
Okay, so most people here are Serbian?
Yeah, all locations is Gračanic and people Serbian.
Okay.
Podeljeno je kao.
50-50?
Yeah, 50-50. Serbia, no... friendly. No friendly is Kosovo.
Okay.
Nakon rata. Nakon bar.
But the people here want to be part of Serbia?
Yeah. People is...
they don't like Kosovo?
No, they don't like Kosovo.
Yeah. Okay. I'm from Singapore, I don't know.
Oh.
That's why, yeah.
Singapore.
Yes.
Do you like Gračanica?
Yeah.
Manastir?
Yes, I just went to Manastir. Very beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
You go to Pristina?
Yeah, going back to
Pristina.
Pristina.
Very beautiful.
Yes.
Ima big tržni center.
Yes.
Yeah, big tržni center for Pristina Mall.
I'm going to Prizren after this.
Prizren is like this.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
You.
See you. Bye.
See you.
So there you go. First interview, and I don't think he would have objected to being on camera. My angle was just bad. Anyways, he did say the magic phrase, Kosovo is Serbia. So the Serbians here do want to be part of Serbia, I think, at least from what I understand from his interview. I would like to know more actually, because he said the population is 50-50 between both the communities. So in their daily interactions, is there any sort of friction? That sort of thing would be very fascinating to hear about, but well, I can't find anyone else to interview. What do you want me to do? I'm now on the bus back, and this is a mini sort of bus, not the big one which I came in. And I think the only reason this guy was able to come, I was waiting very long for a bus, by the way. That's why I thought I'll even go and interview, because I was a bit bored. This bus was able to come to that bus stop, I think, because remember earlier in front there was a car crash, and near the car crash there was already a bus stuck behind. And I think that's why the big buses can't arrive. But this guy, because he's small, just managed to sneak his way in. Just as I've been dropped into Pristina, look at that huge Albanian flag. Yeah, huge Albanian flag. Pristina is a majority Albanian Muslim population. Gracanica was the opposite, and they made that very clear with their Serbian flags. Here they make this very clear with the Albanian flag. My question then is, where is the Kosovar flag? That's the national identity, right? Why is there like different countries' flags flying around different towns and cities? That doesn't make sense to me. Isn't that a bit concerning also? Like, where is the national sort of unity and identity? Well, what is the Kosovar identity then? If each group is just going to say like, oh yeah, we are Albanians, oh yeah, we are Serbians, because that's the country both of these people live in, right? If people just keep flying another country's flag, even the USS, that just tells me this is a very fragmented country with no sort of unity. So that to me is concerning, and also raises a few questions, right? Like, then why is Kosovo even a country? Why not give like half to Serbia, half to Albania? Wouldn't that be a neater solution? Or should you just not draw lines randomly on a map? I don't know, but you understand what I'm trying to think, right? I am now in Prizren, the cultural capital of Kosovo. I took a bus in the night after speaking at the Albania flag place. Couldn't vlog because the sun set really quickly, and no one here speaks English, so it was a bit difficult to figure things out, and I was very tired. You would have also noticed that I'm wearing just a t-shirt. Yes, it's t-shirt weather here in Prizren, which is actually quite messed up if you think about it, because it's early Jan, it's supposed to be peak winter, very cold, but hey, this is what the world has come to, hasn't it? At least the view slaps for just €7 per night, right in the city center. Hatusha Hostel, I'll put the link down in the description. Go check it out if you're ever in Prizren, right? Look at that. Snow-capped mountains, barely snow-capped, which is very concerning. Albanian flag, 400 to 500 euro mosque, just the whole city in front of you. There's a fort over there, which I will definitely go later, as well as a pretty old church also. So very nice vantage point, and for the price it's unbelievable, remarkable. And that Albanian flag near the mosque, yeah, that's because we are just 20 kilometers ish, very close to the Albanian border. So there are lots of Albanian cars over here, a lot of that influence, very Ottoman in nature. So yeah, very different to Gracanica, where it was a strong Serbian Orthodox sort of feel to it. Anyways, this is where I'm gonna end the video, because I feel it has already gone on for way too long. If you enjoyed this video, definitely do drop a like. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It really helps the channel, and most of you haven't already. If you have any thoughts or opinions on the things which I said, which sometimes might be controversial, do drop a comment. I always like reading them and know what my subscribers and viewers think about the stuff which I say. Finally, do follow me on my TikTok and Instagram, where I post a lot more frequently. And goodbye then. Ciao from Prizren, Kosovo. Goodbye.